Hi Aquarius, this is Trudy and I will be reading for you for the year of 2017. This is your reading and I'm very excited to offer these year-long readings so that all of our signs can get acquainted with what the new year will bring. 2017, yes, it's here. We're on the precipice of this. And I'm very excited to bring this reading to you. Thank you for watching, sharing, Google Plusing, and also watching the Instagram feed, as well as I will be uploading special offers to Facebook this year. And so please don't miss those. Here we go. January. Ace of Swords. If you are learning how to read the tarot with me, this is a great card for you because it is a sword, which tells us that you are going to bring in your energy, the energy of Aquarius. This is what will crown you in the month of January. You're starting the year out right. You've got an idea. And what does that mean? That means you have boundaries. You're laying down a plan. This plan has been, I believe, in your mind for quite some time, and you're going to set the rules. This is the year that will become life-altering for you. And I'm hearing that because if you look at the thumbnail here, what you're going to see is that this hand, this is the Waiter Right deck, grabs the shaft of this sword and with conviction. That means that you are going to feel personally involved in your decisions. You're going to make these decisions for you. You're not going to just wishy-washy out there, okay, fine, I'll take care of that. I'll take that one on too. No issues with that. You've got a firm grasp of where you want to go, how you want to spend this year. You're also committed. I can see that you have committed to an ideal and that you have resolved that you will make sure that this commitment is held on to throughout the year. And this is just really a great way to start out, especially with the type of energy that Aquarius has. Very cause-driven. You are rational. You don't fly off the handle easily. And when you know that something needs to get done, you figure out how to do it. And this is another thing that I see for our Aquarius brothers and sisters out there. You're going to be making things happen. You're going to start the year out with clear vision and also black and white thinking. There's no, well, I'm not sure, but there's a firm yes or a firm no. Resolve. This is how we begin the year, with firm resolve. February brings another very fine card, both minor arcana, nothing major yet. In 2017, we have the Eight of Pentacles. Again, if you're learning to read with me, we have four suits. We have swords, which you have drawn the ace, the beginning of new clarity for January, and then pentacles would have to do with anything that is practical, which you can taste, touch, smell, or feel. Also, this is a card of money and often is called coins. But this card tells us that you are working very hard and that you will be learning something new. There's a possibility that some of our Aquarians out there are actually going back to school, and some of them could be going to trade school, learning a new trade, something that will immediately pay off. None of this messing around stuff. You're going to jump right in there and learn how to do a skill, create a product that will allow you to support yourself. There's also quite an exciting, if you look at this card, aspect to this card, because this gentleman is creating for himself. And he's enjoying every moment of the creation. He's also very focused. And so there's no ADD problem happening here for Aquarius. Focus is front and center. There's not anything here that tells me that you're going to be questioning your values, you're going to be questioning your convictions. You just go head down and you start working. And interestingly enough, if you're trying to cut out some of the fat or situations that aren't serving you, those situations are firmly cut away in January, and you find yourself really getting down to task in February, which is a wonderful thing. You're able to concentrate because you don't have a lot of distractions. Now we're moving on to March, and March brings the Queen of Cups. She's reversed, and so there's a bit of drama perhaps happening in the month of March and around into the spring. You could, if you're female, encounter a situation that has you feeling a little blue, a little bit sad. The Queen of Cups is represented by the water signs. Again, if you're learning to read, that would be either a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio. And now you may have some of that water in your chart. And I have met many Aquarians who have lots of water in their charts. And so this could very much represent the more emotional aspects of the year. And March could bring even some situations which would create a little bit of wearing your heart on your sleeve, overreacting to situations. And if you are male, you may find that there is someone around you who is reacting to this almost workaholic tendency to get something done, this cause that you've picked up in the month of January. You might have a few people around you who aren't so happy about the fact that you've gone head down in February. However, there's a lot of positive in this, and you may even find that around you there's a little bit of spending going on. And usually I wouldn't say that comes up with this card. The Cup Queen, it has more to do with being a little bit overly dramatic, but the drama may come forward in terms of since there has been this really head down kind of month that precedes March, there may be this sense of, hey, I'm just going to do whatever I want to do, and I'm not going to worry too much about how you react to me because I'm all tied up in my own emotions. And so beware just a little bit of being overly I don't want to say emotional or dramatic. It just feels like there could be a reason even for the upset and for the dismay. And I hear that some of you might be feeling that way, a little disappointed even. But this Queen, when she's inverted, she can create some serious situations. And again, you want to make sure that all of this great work, all of the clear thinking that came in early in January, that this clear thinking remains. What do we have after that? Now we're getting some major arcana cards for Aquarius. April, very good month for you. We have the Hierophant, and this is a solid situation. We're bringing in organization, and that would make a lot of sense. If you look at this card, you'll see that we have the Pope, and this card was actually called the Pope in medieval times, but now called the Hierophant. It really represents a structural organization. Oftentimes it's a religious institution, and with, of course, the head of the religious institution at the helm, dishing out blessings and also creating a sense of stability via commonly held values. And it can even represent your church, your belief system, and not only your belief system, but others, their belief systems coming together and forming something larger. And so this might come in April, this type of energy. You'll start to feel it. It's interesting. It's right around the celebration of the Passover and Easter. And so this is a time of, after the holidays, probably the very first time where we begin to tap back into our foundation and our beliefs. If you're interested in marriage, this could be a moment where you decide that you're going to renew your vows, or where you decide to ask someone to join you in marriage. And so this type of energy is definitely there. You may need to seek counseling also. That is another aspect of this card, where you go and you're absolved for who knows what. Maybe it's this situation that's happening in March, but you're feeling a little down, maybe, and you're moving towards someone who can actually help you resolve this issue. Even a counselor, mental health counselor, that type of situation. But very good, all in all. It looks as if we're writing whatever situation, person, energy was upsetting in March. I want to get back to March really quickly with this Queen of Cups reversed, because also I'm hearing from them that if you are working on an art project and it is near and dear to your heart, the emotional aspect of this, in March you can easily turn this around by not losing your focus. Because what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to get the more emotional aspects of the project and the idea in line with the community that is surrounding you. And that community feels very value driven. And so you want to make sure that the values of the community are in line with what you're creating. And so this could also, March could just be a month of exploring how you fit in emotionally. How do you bring this idea together, that, you know, this resolve, this cause that you brought, that you've discovered in January. How do you actually manifest that and fit it in to a larger network, which I believe you're already involved with? Where does your heart belong? That's what I'm hearing, if that makes any sense. You need to find a place for your heart, not just for your hard work, and so that's important, a place for your heart. In May, we have Temperance, very nice card. Again, major arcana, because the beginning of the year brings in an idea which will manifest into a practical, actual, either job for some of you, art project that you're creating, new directions, school, all of that. You're bringing it all together under the umbrella of society, of the church, of the greater whole, even the school system. You're figuring out how all of that works. And for some of you, it can even mean you're spending more time in the hallowed halls of a university or of a technology school or an organization that's cause-driven. And so in May, you're just finding your rhythm. And Temperance tells us that you will have the ability to take everything that you've been working on, you're going to take it to the next level. And so again, if this is a project, if it's an education, even if you found that you are suddenly involved in an organization at church, you're teaching a class, or you're just switching it up here. And I see for a lot of our Aquarians, they will be involved in technology, something digital, something of the mind, numbers, mathematics, that type of thing. You're going to take that type of thinking into an organization that will allow you to turn it into some other equation that feels even grander and larger. And then we have the Lovers in the upright in June. Wow. June we have the Lovers. June will have, for Aquarius, a completely different feel and spin. Again, moving from the hierophant, which popped up for us, because really what we're seeing here is that once you hit that April mark and the resurrection, the holidays and that type of thing, you're moving straight into this magical time of year toward the summer, where for some of you, if you're looking for love, you're going to meet your soulmate. It's a very strong feeling. You're going to fall in love. And what does that mean? Well, it's going to be a moment of grace beforehand, and that person that you have been looking for will be found through this organization and value-driven cause. Now, once you do meet that person, you will have new challenges, because you're going to find that whatever it is you have been creating is now attracting or attractive to someone else, and this someone could partner with you and magnify, again, double the opportunity. And I see for some of you, this is going to be magnificent, because if you're going back to school, or if you're leading an organization, or if you're blessing someone within an organization, all of this magic that's happening for you via the Temperance card in May does almost divide you as if you were an amoeba. And so there you go. If you're already in a relationship, whomever is this person who's been feeling left out no longer feels left out. They're drawn into what you're doing. Or if it's you feeling left out, you're drawn in to something larger than yourself that actually will manifest. It becomes an alchemical, magical cipher almost. It's like a new language, and out of that new language that you're learning, and I am hearing that for some of you, you'll be learning an entirely new language, be that mathematics, be that another language, Latin, Spanish, Latin-based, anything like that. What comes out of that? It's a new relationship, or a new way of looking at your relationship, and a new way of seeing each other. It's very beautiful. Great time in June to find love if you're looking for love. Keep your eyes peeled. After that, we have another excellent card for Aquarius. We have the Hanged Man. And so lots of major arcana work will be done in the summer. After this, Lovers card, where we begin to work on how we mirror back the soul of our lover, the person who we are into, attracted to. We need to become clean, clear, beautiful mirrors, so that they can see themselves in the highest and best regard. Hanged Man allows us to step back from the everyday mundane and to see things as we have never seen them before. He's almost in a yoga pose. He's almost willing to take whatever it is, any thought pattern that he had previously, let it go, step back, and open the door wide so that new thoughts, new visions, new ways of looking at the world can come in and take over. Now, he's not grounded in the spiritual, and he's not grounded in the more earthly desires, pleasures of the world. He hangs nicely in between, allowing him to see things as they really are. Major energy for Aquarius in the summertime. July is going to bring an awesome situation where you're going to be able to find new avenues for your talent and also for your family, for your partner, for this new doubling that has occurred. This is a time of success, pure potential, and also can be a time of sacrifice where you have, well, you don't have to, but you choose to sacrifice your needs for the needs of others, which is interesting because the beginning of the year you began with this resolve and this quest, and you've held on to it, and it's singular. And so it seems that whatever this one thing is that you've decided to devote yourself to, you're also willing to make a sacrifice for. And this is very good, and this is going to allow you to create a new way of living. Now we finally have 1 month, it looks like August, where there's a little bit of maybe not crossing the finish line as quickly as we wanted to. We have the Four of Rods. It's first time the rods have come up, and really they have to do with championing a career to a point, or a home to the point where we're feeling settled, and it's a 4. And so that means that maybe there's a lot of travel happening in that month, and we're just a little off. We'd like to go home. We might be a little bit homesick that month. We might also feel as if all of the big ta-das of the summer are just wearing us out a little bit. Even could mean that there are a few just mundane problems, plumbing problems. If you're trying to, at that point, find a new place to live, you might not find it quite as quickly as you'd like to. But it's funny, really in 2017, these are little hiccups because there's some big stuff happening here. And again, big things like marriage, or blessings, or higher ed achievements beyond belief. These things are happening, even becoming ordained. Strong month for creating more than you ever thought you could out of less than you ever thought you would begin with. Because it's interesting that we're starting with this singular idea, moving into just a whole lot of elbow grease, and that's always a great way to move an idea forward, and then straight into higher, bigger, more organized, I want to say religion, but I want to move it even higher than that, values, large group of people who share common values, a larger organization that can move this cause forward right straight to all of the big issues. Love comes up huge for you, and working on yourself, your partner working on who they are. And this is sometimes not always karmic, spiritual, hot and sexy love, but sometimes this can even be a situation where we're digging deep and looking at ourselves and making decisions about who we are deep down inside, balancing the male and the female aspects of our personality to the point where we're able to see ourselves in a completely different and new way. Again, moving into September, it looks as if we have another person coming in. This person is the Knight of Pentacles. He's reversed. Maybe he's feeling a little bit frustrated over the amount of money that's been spent. He's not as happy of a camper as we'd like to see him in the reverse, but this is a person who is either a Capricorn, a Taurus, or a Virgo. And so there's some perfectionism that may have been going on here. And if you are listening to this reading and you're a male, you may find that you're feeling a little bit out of sorts and not as grounded as you would like to feel toward the end of the year. All this wonderful, wonderful stuff has been happening. Moving into September, just Spirit saying, hey, make sure that you're paying attention to what's going on in the home or around you, your bank account, your business dealings, that type of thing. Hanging on to your money a little bit more toward the end of the year. Not a big deal, but just making sure that you're not, someone's not draining your pockets. Now, if you're female and this energy is around you, it can mean, based on this queen, that you're feeling a bit of a tug around your neck, and that there's a man, perhaps your partner, if you're coupled, or the man who you've recently met or recently married, he's pulling back a little bit on the reins and saying, hey, stop spending money. We don't need all of this extra space. Or maybe you should get a second job even, or I need to get a second job. But there's just this idea that too much money is being spent. Also, it can point to weather patterns, which is kind of interesting. Can point to the fact that there's the harvest isn't quite as great as you had hoped for, because we are in harvest season here, and it is the King of Pentacles. And so if our Aquarians out there have gardens, or they're even financial, this can mean the harvest isn't quite as great as you had hoped. However, this feels very, this reading in general feels very much like a heart-driven career reading to me, with a lot of organizational overtones. And so organizational meaning higher ed, the church, even a medical system. There's a big system that sort of is hovering over this entire reading, and that system at some point may not realize the harvest, or the harvest may not be realized within the system. Ten of Swords comes up after that, and ending the year. We've got wonderful cards coming up, but ending the year, there is a bit of a warning. We have the Ten of Swords, and that card just speaks to the fact that you may need to watch out for anyone out there who's trying to lay down insults and who doesn't have your back the way they should have your back. Now, when you see this card, it's never a fun card to see, but the good news is that it is the 10. And so whatever you have been harboring in terms of concerns, worries, that others who are in this organization are hurling toward you, that's all going to end, which will be good. And it happens all of a sudden pretty quickly. It seems to pick up in the fall with this Four of Wands, and maybe just not making the money. There may be a job switch here also, because I see this Hanged Man, and I would say if you decide to make a career switch or a major move, they're going to have some hiccups along the way, but they happen pretty quickly and you get over it, and that's always good. So if someone tries to rain on your parade, you're going to pop the top of the umbrella and walk straight through it pretty quickly. I do want to say that all of our Aquarians need to back up all of their technology toward the end of the year, and just make sure that you have duplicates of everything, and make sure that those duplicates are put in a safe place. The other thing to be careful for in the end of the year for all of our Aquarians is that you're paying attention on the road, and that you're paying attention to your health, your back, that you get up and you move around as you're working, because sometimes this card can speak to literal back issues, and we wouldn't want to see that. And so be good to yourself. Make sure you get out and you get your exercise. We do have this King of Pentacles showing up here, and he's reversed, and so that can speak to just not really taking care of your health. And so you may want to focus on that more in the year of 2017. There are a lot of really big momentous occasions happening, and however, we want to pay attention to the more mundane aspects of our health, and we want to stay energized, and also we want to stay flexible. Yoga may be a good thing for you. November, we're moving into almost finishing up the year now. Another minor arcana card, Five of Rods. Five of Rods speaks to trying to get on the same page, trying to line up with others, trying to work well with others. It's also, interestingly enough, a card of youth and working with young people, getting those young people to follow the rules and to get in line with what is reasonable and responsible. So this can speak to becoming the disciplinarian, even if you're just totally exhausted. You've got to get your arms around this brood, so that you're able to lead them in the proper direction. And now the brood could be at work, the brood could be at home, brood could be your friends, but it's all minor stuff. It's just kind of bickering around the house and even bickering with the neighbors. But it's just a little bit of bickering. We're just moving through the end of the year in a way that seems as if after all this amazing stuff, we're getting grounded again here. Knight of Cups ends the year right next to the Ace of Swords. Knight of Cups is a great card. It can mean the birth of a baby. It can mean that someone is coming to you and professing their love. It's also the card of the mediator. And so at the end of the year, you may find that you're having a little bit of a situation trying to get people on your page. And even though the year starts out with this Ace of Swords and you feel as if you resolve, and you do resolve, toward the end of the year, you're trying to get back on track. And that's happening really more toward the winter months, a little more. There's nothing really big going on. And certainly all these major arcana cards that we're seeing in the spring and the summer trump all these other little mundane cards. And so this is really a spirit just telling you to focus on the big stuff, to stay in gratitude for all that will be given to you for this year, because much will be given to you, and big moments happen where you've got an angel really looking out for you. Your spirit guides are there, and that is really the best thing. The Temperance card that I can see here is you just flipping it around and creating the most wonderful summertime that you can ever imagine. And then after that, it seems as if we're going to have a few just sort of ups and downs. And if you have kids who are in school, like, this is really no surprise. If you've decided to really change it up this year, which I can see that will happen for many of our Aquarians, then major radical changes come along for you, moving from spring into the summer months, and then the fall you're just kind of working through some minor issues here and there. But again, there are 2 people cards in this. We've got, well, actually 3. We're ending the year with this Knight of Cups, and again, that could be if it's your partner, or it just really says to me that communication, love is in the air, and that love needs to be communicated in, maybe not verbally. And that's interesting for Aquarius, because maybe that love needs to be communicated physically. And so I'm hearing that for some of you, you may want to wrap this year up with some physical communication, via body language, via gifts given, love, ceremony. And even if you don't feel like it, which is what I'm hearing a little bit, because there's just like this white noise around you, and you know, it's annoying. Go for it anyway and end the year in a beautiful way. It's going to be a great year for you. Very excited, especially with this Temperance card, this Lovers card, and this Hanged Man. I mean, boom, 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 boom. You're getting involved with something that's much larger than yourself, and you're going to grow from it. So thank you so much. I look forward to these free readings, which I will be delivering for all of our signs every month. And if you get a chance, subscribe to Facebook, because I'll be posting there as well, and teaching. We're going to begin to do some hangouts together so that you can learn to read these cards for yourself. And bless you. I will see you in 2017. Bye-bye.